I'm Mayor Andy Skibitsky, and welcome to this edition of Hometown. One of the things I'd like to do on Hometown is highlight some of the special organizations that we have here in Westfield. And today we're fortunate enough to have the Executive Director of Contact We Care, David Owens, a Westfield resident with us, and Karen Yestes, who's the President of Contact We Care, who's a Mountainside resident. And Contact We Care is an organization that I'm going to have them explain, but they not only help residents in Westfield, but throughout northern New Jersey. So welcome both of you. Thank you for appearing on Westfield's Hometown.
Thank you.
So why don't you, David or Karen, just first tell us what the gist of Contact We Care is. What service you provide?
We are a listening line. We listen to people who are in emotional distress. We've been listening actively, with empathetic, non-judgmental listening to people who just need to talk to somebody. Most people who call are lonely or depressed or have some problem that they need to talk about. Some people who call are suicidal. Others, as I said, are simply lonely. They don't have anyone else to talk to, and they need to get something off their mind.
Karen, anything to add to that, or David covered that pretty well?
Yeah, I think he pretty much covered it. We're very skilled. We take a lot of training classes so that all of the volunteers that are on the lines are very qualified to answer the calls.
And so I read in some of your material that you handle approximately 12,000 calls per year.
Yes, it's getting up close to that.
So how many operators, if that's the right terminology, do you have on a shift?
We actually we operate from small facilities, so we only have 2 at one time in our call room right now. But we're working on some new technology solutions that would enable us to have other people answer calls from home.
So do you call them operators or volunteers?
We call them contact listeners. Contact
listeners. So how many contact listeners do you have right now?
100.
That's right,
about
103 at the end of the year.
Now, is that an adequate amount, or do you need more volunteers?
We always need more. Because they're volunteers, their time is not always, they can't always come in to cover all the shifts that we need to have covered. And the volunteers are very earnest and do their best to help us, but we always need more people to help cover all the shifts.
But imagine if you're a caring listener and you have people calling in with problems, sometimes suicidal problems, but
yes,
certainly whether they're just lonely or have very severe problems, you need some training to help these people and get them to the right service that they may need.
Yes.
So what type of training do you provide?
Well, every volunteer goes through a 36-hour classroom training for different aspects of what we do. Training in active listening, training in how to manage a call, grief, mental illness, suicide. Each class is 3 hours. Currently we're meeting on Wednesday evenings. And then after those 36 hours of classroom training, each of the new volunteers goes through a couple of stages of internship. In the first stage, they spend time with a training assistant who carefully monitors their work on the phone, and they will also spend time listening to that training assistant as that person takes calls. And then they go into a second stage of internship where they spend time with another volunteer as they do a shift.
Now, are there times where you actually get a third person on the phone where you can, when that person, if you identify a certain need,
yes,
can contact somebody with some more specialized training?
Yes. For example, the Psychiatric Emergency Screening Center in one of the counties. Here in Union County, that center is located at Trinitas Regional Medical Center in Elizabeth. And if we have, in particular, a suicidal caller who is cooperative and wants help, then we might do a conference call with one of the professionals at Trinitas so they can do a more extensive assessment of the caller's need. And then we refer callers to other organizations that may help them with whatever problem it is they're trying to solve.
And I should point out that I think just a few years ago, Governor Corzine at the time recognized Contact We Care as one of the best volunteer organizations in the state of New Jersey. So that's quite an achievement.
That was a great honor.
Yes.
Karen, how did you get involved in Contact We Care?
Well, I was part of the Optimist Club through Mike Walsh. I knew him from working at Shearing, and then I met David there. He happened to come to one of the meetings to talk about Contact We Care, and he said, we always need people, we need board members, and so I ended up joining Contact just shortly after I joined the Optimist Club. And then this past year, they asked me, as the outgoing president was, leaving, they asked me if I wanted to take over as president. So it was a big honor. I was really, really pleased to do it because it's a great organization.
Quite a lot of responsibility.
Yes, a lot more than David. I've never talked to David so much as I have lately.
Well, you got a very talented executive director there.
Yes.
And David, how did you get involved in the
I
organization?
got involved first as a volunteer. I was a board member of the Westfield Foundation, and the Westfield Foundation has traditionally given Contact grants over the years. And that deepened my interest in the organization, so I volunteered. And after a few years of volunteering, they needed a new executive director, and it seemed like an appropriate and attractive thing to do. My interest in the organization and its work had grown over the years, so that's what pulled me in. It's important work.
Now, there's a special anniversary coming up, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is our 35th.
So what do you have planned to highlight the organization and just make sure that more people out there that may have the need to contact We Care to just get the awareness out there?
That's right. We want to do as much as we can to make sure people know they can call us. We're always looking for donors, volunteers, and especially we want to be able to reach the people who need help. We want them to be able to reach us.
Mm-hmm. We have a really big gala coming up in November too, and we have Judy Collins is going to be one of our special guests, and also John Nash from the movie Beautiful Mind that was made from there. So we have really
And Judy Collins is the folk singer?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So both of them are going to be honored at our gala this year in November.
November 11th, that is right.
November 11th.
So if people are interested in attending that, what do they should they go to your website?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. ContactWeCare.org.
Okay.
We also, as David was mentioning before we started, we're going to designate an area of Mindawaskan Park for Contact We Care. So we're going to have a little section there. And we actually have some posters on some of the bus stops, so that if you're depressed, you can, or suicidal, or just need to talk, that there's the phone numbers right there. So